Okay. Okay.
Good evening. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Selena, do you know if this has to be turned on back here to get the microphone?
I believe so.
All right. We've not been through it before.
Never used it.
Yeah, we've never had it.
Worked that time.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. We are meeting tonight. Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals of Washingtonville will hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 16th, 2003 at 7 p.m. in the Village Hall, 9 Fairlawn Drive, Washingtonville, New York, on the application of James Kazaza for a front yard variance from 20 feet to 3.5 feet for real property identified on the Village of Washingtonville tax map as 121-1-1.1 and lot 118-1-5. The application and plans are available for review at Village Hall Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. All interested parties may be heard at said time and place by order of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open the meeting. Denny? Jim?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm just taking this.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to give you a chance to catch up. Do you want to start with Jim giving his presentation? Jim, would you like to give your presentation?
Sure. What I want to start with, this is a very busy map.
Hold on one second. This is Jim Kazaza giving his proposal for the variance. You want to talk into this, just this way that people can hear when they watch, if they're watching the recording.
Thank you, Mr. DeVinco. This is a very busy map, just because of the nature of what I'm proposing. In order to give you a more clear picture of what I want to do, I took a photocopy of a portion of the map, and I've indicated in red the existing lot 118-1-4, which is approximately a 1.5 acre parcel. I'm sorry, I only have two.
That's fine, that's fine, we can share, that's fine.
What we're proposing to do is to increase that lot from 1.5 acres to 3.4 acres. And we're doing that by eliminating a lot of the busy lines on the map. You can see the green area, which is what we're proposing to add to the original lot, to make the total of 3.4 acres, or 3.5 acres, roughly that size. Now, all of the lot lines that we have drawn on the new map comply with the zoning requirements. We are adopting an existing line that separates lot 118-1-5, that's my wife's former medical building, from the parcel 121-1-1.1. That's the line that is less than the 20 feet required. But that's an existing line. It's been there for years. We're just adopting it as part of our lot line. I called it a front yard because literally it's facing Route 208, but as you can see, the house that's on lot 118-1-4 is over 200 feet away from the highway. So it's technically a front yard, but it's not really a front yard. Now, why we're doing this? This house was occupied by my mother and father-in-law, Ray and Janet Steves, and it's now occupied by my brother-in-law, and my former office was located on the lower level. The building that's identified on the map as barn is actually a car garage for the house. That's where the occupant of the house parks the car. That's the one that's directly opposite the house. The other long barn is a machinery storage shed, and we need that because, as you might know, the rest of the parcel is for sale. We have 2 large machinery sheds on that parcel that are probably going to be sold, and we need the storage space for the equipment that we have. And so the variance that I've requested, based on what the planning board has directed me to do, is a variance for that 3.5 setback that should be a 20-foot setback. Parcel 118.14 is in the BG zone. Parcel 121.1 is in the RA zone. I have a photograph also, which again might help you understand the lot line that we're talking about. The White House that you see in this photograph is the,
That's your house.
that's the building that was my office and my in-laws' home. And you can see the long shed immediately to the left of the house. And you can see a property line there. You can see a row of trees separating what used to be the medical office from the back of that building. And that's the lot line that's in question. So, do any of you have any questions that I might be able to help you answer? Fortunately, I had this drone picture that I could demonstrate to you.
So this line, that line, is lot line in question, okay.
I can circle a lot
This is-
line in question.
This is the line here?
No,
No.
I'll show you.
Where's
Let me- It's this line right here.
Oh, okay, and goes through that.
It goes right behind that building.
That's-
So the silos and the long building are not on this piece of property?
No, and they're not affected by this subdivision. They're not too close or too far away or anything like that. They're irrelevant to the subdivision.
What Mr. Kazaza is doing right now is indicating where the line is according to a drone picture that he took, for anyone that's watching the video,
And,
wondering what we're doing.
and just for the record, I've marked my copies and I'll maintain them. Okay,
It's hard to,
yeah,
right in here.
so this is the line
Yeah.
right there. And so this is, so Mr. Kazaza,
That's a lot easier.
the variance is right here.
Right here, yes,
Effectively,
yes.
okay. Just for the record, Mr. I'll bellow, I'm pretty good. I've labeled the map that Mr. Kazaz has just provided, he's marked up a map. I've marked it received, and I've also marked it as item 1, so that we can incorporate it into our record. And the aerial photo that he's provided, I've marked received, and I've marked it as item 2, so that we can refer to these in the record, okay? Because they are
And you mark
helpful.
them as?
1, so the map is 1,
The map is 1,
and the picture's 2.
thank you.
And the only other thing I would add is, we've worked with the planning board over a course of several meetings to eliminate all of the other issues that they had raised. And again, they were satisfied with everything on the map, except technically there's this existing violation, and they wanted me to come here to request a variance.
How many acres remain from the whole property after this?
It started out as 88.6, and it's going to be 88.4 when we're finished.
88.4 will be remaining from
Remaining in parcel 121, 1.1.
121.
Will remain at 88.4 acres.
88
And that's shown on the big map that you have that's part of the record.
Thank you.
Are you, and this isn't necessarily in the area of the easement, are you eliminating 118.13? I was trying to, not that,
Yes, the planning board wants me to merge 118.13 into 121.1,
okay,
which we've agreed to do.
okay, now that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're-
That answers that question.
So you're joining 118-1,
118.1-3
right,
is, we're
Being
cutting
joined.
off the end of that where it would have fronted on Route 208.
right.
nobody wanted a landlocked parcel there.
Right.
So we agreed to merge it. I obtained from the town tax office the necessary documents for the merger. They were all signed and ready to be filed with the tax assessor, but obviously I can't do that until there's an approval of the map.
Right.
But there will not be any kind of orphan parcel there.
Okay, that
That makes
yeah,
more sense now.
that definitely clears up one of my questions.
Okay.
The 119, dash 1, dash 4. Okay, so that's good.
No, it's the where the setback is.
Does anybody on the board have any questions? Or any discussion?
This is joining with this, basically.
Joining this parcel
Yeah.
to here,
So this is just
the
being
118,
removed. You already-
correct, so where the green line is, for anybody watching the video, there's a green line. So that'll all be one.
Okay, makes
No.
sense. I just think that now I can tell.
It makes it
This
a
right
little
here
bit
is being
easier,
removed.
it makes it a little bit easier to understand again.
And Mr. Kazaza, I'll provide you a copy of my memo. I did review the application and I did provide a comment memo that the board has. I just remind the board of its statutory analysis set forth in Village Law 7712B, and those are your statutory questions. One, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. Two, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible to the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Three, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Four, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And five, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals but not necessarily preclude the granting of an area variance. And so those are the questions you need to answer based on Mr. Kazaza's presentation. I do note that the application is subject to 239 review. I did speak with Stephanie Midler, the planning board attorney. She advises that the matter was referred to Orange County Planning by the planning board and will rely on that referral since the application is it's the same.
Yeah.
I did speak to her because it's right on the town line. It does have to get referred to Blooming Grove, and she is going to prepare a joint referral for both boards. I also understand that based on the materials provided to me and in speaking with Ms. Midler, the planning board did declare lead agency as of January 18th, 2023, and did circulate that. They have set a coordinated review, so they will finalize their findings, and then we can have a formal vote. Now, what we've done in the past for applicants in similar situations where the planning board did a coordinated review is we give an informal, a non-binding informal poll that gives Mr. Kazaza the information, or the applicant the information to go back to the planning board. They finalize their seeker, and then we have the formal vote. So that would be the process I would recommend to the board tonight.
I have one question, Mr. Kazaza. What is the purpose for this? Is there a purpose for doing this? Is it just personal that you want more property, or you want to join properties?
No, as I indicated, the parcel known as 121-1-1.1 is for sale. And right now, it includes the garage that we're using as part of the house operation. And it includes the storage building that we want to maintain so that we have a place to store our equipment. We still have some farm equipment left from when we operated this as a dairy farm. We use that equipment to maintain the grounds. We have tractors, we have mowers, etc. And, you know, we need this it's called a barn, but it's actually an open storage shed, so that we can store that equipment.
I'm sorry to be repetitive, I just
No,
wanted to
that's
make
okay.
sure it was
That's
clear
okay.
to everybody what you were looking to do.
And as to the issues that are being raised, you know, again, this is not a new lot line, this is something that's been there. Whether it has an adverse effect on the community or on the neighborhood, it's a line that's been there for probably at least 40 years. We're not really creating a new line, we're simply adopting an existing lot line that will now be part of this different lot. We are going to be taking title subject to the solar easement. The solar company has the right of way to go down that driveway to access their solar field. That will continue uninterrupted, and that's it. Any other questions?
With your table of bulk requirements, Zone BG, it's a zoning use business center. Is that,
There's,
Now, the current zoning that the Village of Washingtonville has under BG zone breaks it down into two categories. One category is a business center
Business.
development, the other category is
General.
all other uses.
right?
We fall under all other uses.
Okay,
And that's why the surveyor put that bulk table. The reason the other bulk table there, RA, is because
right.
the larger parcel is in the RA zone. There's a zoning line right along the existing property line.
And that will remain RA, correct?
so
Yeah, it remains
this,
RA.
this does not alter the zoning.
Okay.
So this does not alter the zoning?
Yeah.
Okay.
What it is he wants to sell the adjoining lot. The adjoining lot has buildings he'd like to keep, and so he's gotta bring those into his property so that he can sell off without.
Right, which makes sense.
That was losing my brother-in-law's garage. He would be very upset. He would park his car out in the snow.
I would just, for the record,
Does anyone from the public have any questions? No? All of you? None of you have a question? My goodness.
You just echoed.
No, good, thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, I apologize for the busyness of the map, but that's what's there. And
I was
so-
actually gonna suggest we took a map reading class.
Well, fortunately,
White,
the surveyor was nice enough to use a red line for the proposed
Yes.
new lines and a green where the edges of the foliage is, so it makes it a little bit easier.
that was helpful.
Yeah.
I have seen worse, so,
And per the planning board, when we do a Mylar for filing, there'll be no colors because the county doesn't want any colors on their Mylars. One other thing that I did want to point out, if you look in the area where we're requesting the zoning, it says on the larger map, sewer easement per, and it gives a book and page number. There is a 20 foot,
Oh,
I
Did have a question.
I can point that out for you.
Has that easement always been there?
It was created, I believe, when the lots were subdivided.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
looking
I
at
did have a
this
question.
area right
Yep.
here, because
And it
that,
goes all the way down?
it goes
here.
down there and it goes all the way across the 88 acres.
Oh,
and
okay,
it
all the way
connects-
to Woodcock?
No, it goes down towards the trailer park. And there's an existing sewer line, yeah,
Okay.
there's an existing sewer line from the trailer park under the creek and across one piece of our property. And it ends right where this 121 parcel begins. But this proposed easement would go down and connect to that. But because there's an easement there, this 20 feet would never be built on. So in effect,
Right.
that's providing a buffer to the 20 foot that we need.
Right, okay. How wide is this?
20 feet.
20 feet,
Yep.
okay. And, yeah, that-
it
and that
all the
goes
way up
all
to
the
here
way-
so that it would provide sewer access
For
to
the
the house
house.
if it would be connected.
And then to
Any other-
anything that was
right.
built over here?
This building uses the sewer that's across the
This
street.
was the doctor's
This
office?
is the doctor's
Okay,
office, and this connects to the sewer across the street.
Okay.
all right.
But this property still has a septic tank because it was 1940 that house was built, so no
Right.
sewer lines then.
Right. Yeah, that was 1940, you said?
1840.
1840, I was gonna say, mine was built in 1940. yours
Yeah,
wasn't built.
that's 1840. That's
Right.
David Moffat's house.
Right, right. Wow.
and I did,
And one other question, Is this where the battery backup system is, over here? For the solar farm?
No, there's no battery backup. What that is an area for water runoff. They put a culvert under here, see it?
Yeah?
And there's a kind of a ditch down along the side. So the concept is that any water runoff would go, and this is just an absorption field.
Oh, okay.
We have no battery backup on the solar.
Is there's not a
Nothing,
tank
it's
under,
grass.
it's just grass for
Just grass.
seepage, okay.
Right.
All right, great. I don't know what other questions I have. Jim, you have any other questions?
No.
Denny, any other questions?
And I did confirm, I don't have the affidavit, but I can see that it was published in the record timely.
Okay.
So if you would like, you are in a position to be able to close the public hearing this evening. We can't take formal action because of the seeker posture, but as I mentioned, you could take an informal poll so that he can go back, they finish their
Right.
seeker, and then we make the final vote.
I'd like to share this with you. It doesn't need to be part of the application, but you can see the solar field. in this
Right.
photo.
Okay.
And I don't know,
It's a really
it's
pretty
hidden,
picture.
you can't see it from anywhere. I mean, you go down to Mays Field,
No,
you
you
go
can't.
108,
No.
it's totally hidden.
Yeah.
But that's where it is.
How many acres is that?
About 14 acres total.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
That's a really nice picture.
It was a good spot to put it.
Yeah.
It connects right into
Yeah.
the.
No, but I mean, it's really pretty picture with the
Yeah.
silos and the
And
barn.
that's not on any one of these three parcels?
That's actually, part of it is on the 121, 1.1.
The big
The one
The
that
big
you're selling?
88 acres.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This one.
Part of it is, and what's the other part? Separate.
119, 1.1, a different parcel.
A different parcel.
We own it.
Okay.
And that's the 88 acres.
Yeah, this is, part of this is on the 88 acres, and part is on 65.
Oh, so this is on part of the 88
Part of
acres?
the 88, yes.
So what happens to that,
That's going to be sold as part of the sale.
the solar?
Yeah.
Oh,
So the other parcel is going along with the 88?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was just to give you an idea of what the solar array looks like, because I know people haven't seen it.
I want to take this out and just take, that's a really nice
It
picture.
is, yeah.
You know, the red barn and the silos. Can we leave the public hearing part of it open and just?
You
Is
can, I
anybody-
don't, the only,
I don't see any reason to, but.
the only issue is I don't know the timing of the planning board. If I knew we were leaving the public hearing open for, say, next month, I don't,
But you don't know that.
I don't know that timing. So what I would suggest, particularly since there's clearly vociferous comment here,
Right.
and yes, for the record, I'm being
Yes.
facetious.
We're joking.
Given that, I would close the public hearing.
All right, so
then,
can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Denny and Jim? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
So no informal vote.
now,
That's it?
no. Sorry, John. Okay, so we're gonna take an informal polling of the board to see how you feel about this proposition that Mr. Kazaza has brought before us. Denny?
I see no problem in it.
Jim?
Yeah, I would say with what's been presented, I don't see an issue.
I don't see any adverse effect to any neighboring area. And I totally understand what you're doing to try and keep your storage areas, you know, when you're trying to sell off the other parts of the property, you don't wanna lose your garage and your
It's not
barns.
substantial.
So I don't have any problem with it either. That noise.
It's giving me a headache.
I know.
All right.
Sitting with that right behind me.
That's
Did they bother you?
I do not have minutes for you to approve. I will probably have a set, because from our last meeting, and that's on me, I apologize. So, that's what you have tonight.
Now, I will go back to the planning board, and when they finish their secret declaration and hear from the county, they'll be ready to act, and they'll
They'll be-
advise
We'll
you
make
for a
the-
formal vote.
Yeah,
Formal
and then,
vote, yeah.
once, what I would say is, once they, let them have their approval, come back on, I'm assuming you're not moving buildings that are existing.
No, no,
We'll put you on the agenda,
okay, for formal vote.
for a formal vote, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate
You're
your
welcome.
time.
Have a nice evening, happy St. Patty's Day.
Come on, my name is Casaz.
Everybody's Irish on St.
I
Patty's Day.
suppose, I could add an O.
All right, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:28
I'll make a motion
p.m.
to close the meeting.
7:30. Jim made a motion, Denny second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming, we really appreciate all your comments. Have a good night.
Thank you all.
That's it. Selena?
Yes.